Victorious had its fair share of extremely extravagant event nights. Nights devoted to new episodes, marathons, that led to cool guest stars.
Who's Freddy? My name is Chess Masterson.
Even crossovers that I have yet to get into. But there's no show compared to iCarly, who had 10 two-part specials over the course of its 100-episode run. Victorious is a little bit shorter than that, with 57 episodes total in its series, which is actually a lot more than Drake and Josh. So it seems like they only really had time for 3 actual specials, and I'm not including iParty with Victorious. If you want to see iParty with Victorious, I covered it in my iCarly special events video, so you'll have to go back to that. I'm not doing it again, guys. Point is, it was pretty disappointing, and I feel like if we're talking about actual Victorious-related double-length episodes, we can only really narrow it down to the 3. Freak the Freak Out, Locked Up, and Tori Goes Platinum, each from an individual season, with the 4th season not having any, but I think that's just because the production didn't expect to have more episodes to write. But yeah, there's a lot of things you can't help but notice when you put these trilogy of specials right back to back. But hey, let's get into that as we get into the specials themselves, shall we? Let's dive in to Victorious, the special episodes. What's up, everybody? It's Johnny 2000, focusing on 2000's TV, movies, media, and so much more. Starting with Freak the Freak Out, we have season 1, episode 13 of Victorious. And this actually was promoted as Victorious's first movie, so they set the bar really high, because this is not what I would define as a movie. Drake and Josh had the dignity of having a different title sequence, maybe like a cinematography point of view. They even took out a laugh track for one of their quote-unquote movies. This one is backpedaling a lot, starting already with our sitcom format, which is Trina in the house. Same laugh track, same everything, it's just a normal cold open. You'll notice they do this on more than one special episode of Victorious, but we start with Trina's plotline, which is genuinely just her having mouth surgery. Wow, I can't believe the stakes are so high for this one.
No, I gotta get my wisdom teeth taken out.
And is told that she's going to have to be taken care of, which I guess will be Tori's goal. So it's just a normal day of class. They're doing some kind of weird acting exercise, which I never saw any of them show any aspiration to actually do the things they do in this school, outside of school.
Guess what Jade and I are doing tonight?
Except for a couple choice episodes, but for the most part, they just want this to be a comedy. And Kat informs the class that they're gonna go to Karaoke Dokie that night. It's this new karaoke bar, and it's, I guess, for underage kids. I don't know why that's served up like that. But yeah, I guess it's all just to have a good time. Doesn't have anything to do with the mouth surgery, but when we get to the bar, we are dealing with the actual stakes. It's a bunch of girls start hitting on Beck, and I suppose even though they're terrible characters, we're rooting for Jade, but she's fighting for her boyfriend, and these girls have no empathy for her. They pretty much stomp all over them. This is like their bullying grounds.
Hollywood Arts, the school for wannabes.
And they just entered their property. Tori is, of course, in the B plot, which should be the A plot. I don't know. She's just taking care of Trina, and Trina is not useful at all. She is just moping around, not being a very good patient, if you will.
My favor!
Tori literally has to get on top of her at one point, which is not fair. I don't know how a grown woman is acting like this. It's almost 20 full minutes before we even get to these karaoke girls getting on stage.
Enjoy us.
Enjoy my monkey fur.
And singing horribly. It's weird because it's like the halfway point of the special, and we're pretty much told that the main characters are gonna win this situation. The owners actually are related to the girls on stage, so it doesn't matter how good or bad of singers they are, it's their territory. This is confirmed, so the main cast is not welcome here. I don't know how this is a plot, or if we're truly losing. Like, it's not like this is a mainstay place that we even come back to after this episode, so I don't understand. It is is cool though because Jade and Kat get their first full-on musical number without Tori in it, and this is where that meme stemmed from. I think everybody can sing, which by the way, they're all pretty good singers. Like I don't think Victoria Justice is worse than either of them. Like she just has her own style. Same like Miranda Cosgrove and Stay My Baby. Yeah, those 2000s classics, they were bangers. And this is somewhat relevant to the plot of Victorious. Like I feel like using their skills to actually advance in life is a good plot. But yeah, still a weird way to end the first part of a two-part episode is just finding out that these girls are not actually talented and that they're not going to be able to stay at this bar. We jump to part 2 of the episode and the theme song is very, very minorly changed with literally just a graphic popping up. Oh my gosh, guys, at least pretend like it's gonna be a special. Like the first one, it starts in the Tori Vega household. Her friends all come over, Beck, Andre, and Robbie, to tell Tori about what's going on at this nightclub. But Tori's still taking care of Trina, which is still not that amusing. It's just Trina acting like a spoiled child and Tori trying to help. So Kat and Jade show up as well, and they basically are like, okay, we have a plan to keep Trina under control, and you come with us and upstage these girls. Which, by the way, you guys already know you're all talented, and more talented than them, at least, and I guess they still feel the need to prove themselves, whatever. And the stakes do get somewhat raised, so we get back to the karaoke bar. We don't really see what's going on with Tori. It's just pretty much Ariana Grande as Kat making a bet with these girls that they are allowed to stay here as long as they win this singing competition, and they get to choose anybody in the bar to do it against these girls. And it's like the girls are already bad, so I feel like even if it's not Tori in a disguise, a really ugly wig, that they could still pull this off. But no, they do choose to go with that effect. They bet Jade's boyfriend, which is so funny because it's like clearly not intended to be that, and I don't know why. That's just like the funniest part of the episode for me. The girls sing, they have a really horribly awkward performance, okay, fine. And then Tori comes up dressed like a slob.
What's your name up at the mic there?
Louise Nordoff.
And you guys know this historical scene when she takes off the wig and slowly starts being good at singing, which, by the way, I don't think your outward looks ever have to do with your quality of singing, but okay. And I can't help but wonder if this would have been the perfect break point. Like, Kat actually betting everything on the line. Like, give us a reason to come back for a second part of this episode. Like, the awkward break in between, like, them being good at singing was weird. Like, it doesn't really have you come back for more. But I guess that's why Nickelodeon aired this as a full, quote-unquote, movie, because they didn't want you to actually not wait during the commercial breaks. They just wanted you to sit through this whole thing, which is kind of cheap. Whatever, Nickelodeon. So yeah, Tori sings the main song Freak the Freak Out, which, by the way, when this special was announced, I don't know what I was going to make of it. I couldn't tell what it was going to actually be about back then. I mean, I was optimistic. I was like watching all the previews being like, okay, so maybe it's like bars taken down and everybody has to fight to get their rights back, but it's a lot more low stakes than I remember it, and the entire special is named after this specific music number. So I guess it is a good excuse to sing for 3 minutes of the plot, but I'm still here questioning why I even have to watch this for an hour. Like, this could have been done in a 20-minute episode, let alone not advertised as this huge special. It's definitely celebratory. Like, I feel like it puts some really good vibes in your steps when you're watching it. Like, I feel like that's what people fondly remember this special as. Like, I get it. People are very nostalgic, especially for musical moments, very High School Musical-esque, having your favorite character jump in and sing, but it seems like the context here isn't really earned or even notable to even have a giant event about itself. Whatever. I'm disappointed rewatching it knowing what it could have been, and I'm easily explaining to myself why it felt like a letdown at the time, so thank you guys for bearing with me. Freak the Freak Out is definitely like a 5 out of 10 of even a Victorious episode. I feel like if you gave me another episode of Victorious, I could show you how to break it into 2 parts, and it'd be actually like really interesting. Like that one when they're in the giant cupcake going through the bad neighborhood. That was a lot going on.
What street are we on?
Yeah, what street?
Let's just say it ain't Sesame Street.
I love Sesame Street. Sunny.
No!
You guys get what I'm going for, right? Like, weird way to start it off, and let alone in the first season. Like, you're telling me you're setting the whole groundwork for this entire series about a musical high school, and the biggest thing that happens is they're getting harassed by a local bar that they're not gonna actually go back to anyway? Yeah, I don't think I needed it. And then Trina, her whole plot, like, started out this entire special, had the whole thing, like, running for a little bit, and now it's just kind of aside. They're just kind of, like, pushing it to, like, a C-plot almost, with all the boys trying to take care of her, and it's not like there's a moral lesson or even a resolution to what she's going through. I feel like it's just them harassing Trina and the audience kind of going along with it, which, by the way, feels a little bullying to me. But okay, yeah, that's Freak the Freak Out. Let's move on to the second season and see if they actually made their follow-up special something that is a really movie-worthy event. Yeah, it's Locked Up, parts 1 and 2. And this is particularly disappointing because it would be one thing if, like, you took the Drake and Josh Goes Hollywood, you know, like, you have the two boys leaving their normal set to get involved in this high stakes adventure, and that's kind of what you think is going to happen. You're like, okay, Locked Up, I'm looking at the previews, it seems like Tori and friends are gonna get stuck in another country, forced to sing, and they're trapped. Yeah, you are right for the most part, but it's not quite leaning to Drake and Josh Go Hollywood, it's leaning to another special that I think we all don't remember too fondly. I Go to Japan from iCarly.
Konnichiwa. O genki desu ka?
はい、ありがとう。はじめまして。
どこで日本語を習いましたか?
I ate soap.
Again, I cover this in the iCarly video. It was a 3-part special, so they actually felt like it needed to go on that long. I don't. But Victorious is taking that trope of the main cast leaving into a third world country where they don't really know the culture or what's going on.
And look.
Ooh, look at that. Oh, White Sand Beach.
Computer.
And it's all about them surviving those circumstances. Not terrible on paper, but the way they execute it, having it be more about the joke of it all as opposed to them actually being genuinely confused in a new place.
So, the swimming pool here is currently filled with ammunition.
It seems like we're turning to mock the entire culture of the place.
Get your hands off my boyfriend's head!
Luckily for them, they made up a place this time. Instead of going to Japan, they go to a place called Yerba.
Yerba.
Yerba? Yerba?
It's a very exotic island.
Like Hawaii?
Sure, yeah, like that.
Okay, that's actually definitely better than the first special. I feel like we're off to a pretty good start right from the beginning of this. I want to say it starts out as pointless as the Freak the Freak Out special, but no, it starts out with Tori and friends actually having a conversation with the food truck guy in their normal hangout. It's not Trina literally getting told she has to go to surgery and everybody dealing with that. Like, it's not just a simple episodic plot. This guy actually feeds information that they need a group of singers in this country called Yerba to actually get a free resort stay, and everything will be accommodated in this place. It feels like it's kind of mocking the idea of people being from different countries with this guy and how Tori interacts with him, but hey, I'm just lucky it's not Trina's mouth surgery. I'm gonna emphasize that one more time. This part kind of bothers me though. Like, they do have the theme song, but they replace it with clips from the special, which you think would be a positive, but honestly, it feels like it cheapens the whole thing because they put the trailer for the rest of the plot in the promo. And it's like, I already know what's gonna happen before I see any of this go down. Like, I want the fact that these cast members go to jail be a big reveal and something actually interesting happening. But no, it's not that. So Tori and her friends embark on this trip to Yerba with Psychowitz, of course, taking them because we need an irresponsible adult to somehow put the kids in danger. I feel bad for this man. And yeah, he escorts them to the country, and he's heard of this country before, so maybe that's gonna be a good sign. Oh wait, it's not.
I spent 2 weeks in Yerba when I was 23.
Cool. So what's it like?
I remember nothing of that trip.
So they get to the country and immediately it feels like I Go to Japan, where none of them are used to the customs. Everybody is pretty much making jokes about how the hotel is set up, and the bellhop, who kind of resembles Lubert a little bit from iCarly, is trying to get them into this whole space, but they're not having it. Everybody there is like sketchy and apparently worth investigating, with the army coming running in, attacking our main characters right off the bat. So that's kind of cool because we're actually establishing that this place is dangerous. They need to have guards here on duty at all times. I'm definitely feeling worried for these kids, but the kids are just joke after joke, just having fun with this place. It's not like character-based jokes, it's more situational based, and it's kind of dismissing the regular plot, which is actually kind of interesting. Andre ends up getting bitten by some weird fly and has a tumor for the rest of the plot. I can't believe that's even a thing.
Being bitten by a vampire moth is very good luck.
It says here that a bite from a vampire moth could kill you.
Yes, but if you live, you are very lucky.
Basically, like, they're all worried about Andre's well-being, and it seems like they're all joking about it more than they are actually worried about helping him. Then they end up having to share a same bed based on your gender, and Robbie is thrown in with the girls, which is not as funny as it used to be. Like, that's kind of offensive now to just assume his gender. I don't think we're there anymore. Point is, these guys are trapped in this new place, don't know how to go about it, and hopefully everything is going to be solved once they get their whole singing situation through, and then they could just head on home. But oh well, Andre is actually suffering this whole episode, and you feel horrible for him. The rest of the cast, you don't feel that bad for, because it's like they're just genuinely acting ignorant this whole time. And yeah, none of the other actors are helping super well. I do like a lot of road trip related movies, so taking the characters out of their normal habitat already gets you a lot of points for me. So seeing all this go down is actually kind of entertaining. I definitely think it's such a step up from Freak the Freak Out, until we actually get to the main event, which is the character's performance. So Psychowitz is getting ready as everybody else gets their sparkly tops ready to perform. Everybody except for Andre, who is being taken care of by this 15-year-old boy doctor. What? Okay, this is crazy. I don't know any country where it's like you need to be 15 to be qualified to take care of somebody like this. The stakes get raised when the dictator of Yerba will be at their event. Yeah, so they have this full-on performance, and Andre is at front and center despite his disease. I don't know why they would think he could still perform after what the doctor just said, but then again, he's 15.
How is he, Doc?
And they play one of my favorite songs in the whole series, actually. It's All I Want Is Everything, and it's just such a hype song. Definitely, they use these specials as an excuse to play a full 3-minute song, which for me, honestly, I don't like when they try to fit it into a 20-minute episode, so this is pretty acceptable, but it's given me vibes of the last season, where they just gave up on this. They didn't even care that they were taking up 3 minutes of singing. Example, Five Fingers to the Face, one of my least favorite experiences in a teen sitcom ever. I hated that musical number. But the whole special ends on a really crazy cliffhanger where Tori is told she's gonna be going to jail for kicking her shoe up and hitting the dictator. That's a great way to end a first special. If you didn't make the whole theme song about them in these jail clothes. Yeah, they literally gave away this whole mid-episode plot line just to show us that they're gonna end up in jail. You convinced me to watch the next episode, guys. You don't have to keep convincing me. So yeah, then we jump into the next episode, get a quick little recap, and the boy doctor is back checking in on the Prime Minister, which is super funny.
Doctor, how is his eye?
Yeah.
We see Tori in her jail garbs, literally ready to be taken away. She's given a lawyer, but he's not super helpful. But at least this time we're in for the ride, and we know that it's not going to be a low-quality special like Freak the Freak Out. It's still got some promise. We're thrown into the jail with all these teenagers, and nobody here is safe. Everybody's worried about their concern. It starts out with just Tori being arrested and everybody talking to her from behind the bars, which is kind of funny. Seeing Jade actually react to prisoners and not be afraid is definitely on par for her. Like, seeing their characters stretched in these settings definitely makes it a lot more fun.
One time, when my brother was in prison, he told the people in charge that he was a vegetarian, so they gave him special meals.
Psychowitz and the friends actually try to get Tori out of there, and they have like a little speech on like why they care about her, but nobody can really get something positive out.
I mean, is she a perfect sister? No. Is she the prettiest or most talented girl in the world? Not by a long shot.
I don't know why this is like a moment of character realization. They introduced that the Chancellor has this squid that is his near and beloved animal. I can't believe I've never seen this in a sitcom. I think that's really funny though, like such a specific animal. It kind of reminds me of the episode of Drake and Josh where they get a chimp. Like this feels like very like random animal input into a TV show type vibes. And yeah, so they end up killing this poor little squid and the dictator is furious, putting them all in jail. And it's kind of a weird commentary on like going to a country where they just make up rules just to make up rules. And I'm not super cultured enough to even speak on this, unlike the Victorious cast who believes they can like pretty much add their own commentary. This is really out of left field for me. Like I don't think they actually did research into any country's customs to even parody. Like that's the thing, it's like it gets a little offensive when it's close enough like another culture to seem like it's parodying one of their laws, but they didn't. It's kind of reminding me of like Russia, Soviet, like that's what I feel like they're actually going for. And this is when everything kind of gets resolved. Tori is like, okay, we're just gonna allow us to do another performance, and if it's good enough, like let us out of jail, okay? Yeah, that's fine. Freak the Freak Out ended the same way with a big musical number, and I like that this is almost the second number in it, so it kind of takes all the hype off the first one. And yeah, they do a full-on number and manage to get such roarous applause that they convince the Chancellor that they're worth going free. That's not even how it ends. Okay, no, so the performance goes well, but then the prisoners try to escape, and Tori and her friends do so as well. So I guess they just ditch all their fellow prisoners and head out from Yerba.
They're gone!
With one last sign of saying no escape, and we never revisit this again, which, by the way, I think a country would like actually find a way to track down this person. I don't think these kids would be scot-free after that experience, but hey, I'm just grateful we're not getting another Freak the Freak Out. So the second season did come in clutch for us with this special, and I'm happy because honestly it could have been so much worse. iCarly did such good specials in its first couple seasons that it makes it hard to like view this on its own and not be like disgusted.
디스커스팅한 냄새가 나요.
But hey, we're gonna let them slide on this one, especially since we have only one more special to look at. Yeah, I know, I Party with Victorious came in between this and that and our finale episode that we're about to cover, but we're not covering it. I guess the only thing we should really note is the continuity of all these specials. Sure, there's 4 total, but the third one establishes that all the kids are friends, I guess. There's really no continuity. So Tori Goes Platinum is the finale episode, quote unquote. It actually was supposed to be the finale of the first 13 episodes of season 3 and then end there, but they got renewed for a 4th season, allowing them to do 13 more episodes. And they didn't care to try to conclude it in any way. They just had fun in the 4th season, I guess. It's very reminiscent of Drake and Josh because their finale was Really Big Shrimp, and that was supposed to be the finale, but they ended up airing 2 episodes in between that. Victorious doesn't have that exact story, but in this moment, they tried to end with a 2-part special. And same thing with Drake and Josh. It's the first time that Drake musically is relevant and his career actually plays a part in the plot. And the same thing with Victorious. Tori is going to get signed to a record label. Actually a pretty interesting ending episode plot. But again, the fact that this whole show is supposed to be centered around performances and things that involve an art school, it does kind of shock me that this isn't the first 2-part episode. Like, why is Freak the Freak Out like our first special when this could have been an actual like realization and career movement? Like, at this age, I would have been inspired by stories like that, not just inspired by kids making fun of each other. I can't believe how similar this is to the end of Drake and Josh, actually. It's kind of crazy when you think about it. My favorite part of this whole special is the addition of Mr. Sheffield, the actor that plays Mr. Sheffield on The Nanny.
Mr. Sheffield! Oh, Mr. Sheffield. Oh, Mr. Sheffield. Oh, Mr. Sheffield. Sheffield. Oh, Mr. Sheffield.
Plays the record producer in this episode. And it kind of mimics the way it goes about in the pilot, where it's about talent being seeked out and everybody wanting Tori to be the highlight of the whole school. So everybody auditions for this record producer, and he is so picky. He doesn't like any of the students at Hollywood Arts, which, hey, I may not love the show, but you can't argue with me that they're not incredible singers. Like, if I saw all of these audition tapes that Mr. Sheffield is going through, I would probably make them all famous.
Cruise ship.
Oh my god, they have a Miranda Sings reference, which I find ridiculous. I can't believe they even included that. That's so crazy. Seeing Sinjin have a tape in there is even funnier because it's like, you do realize he has to go to this school for a reason. Like, what is his actual talent? I think you see him doing a lot of tech-related things, but that's not enough to get into this entire school based on what they talk about. I really would like to know if there's like other trades here, because when I went to high school, it was also a trade school, so I kind of know what it's like to expect a certain curriculum. So this guy, this record producer, shows up to Tori's school to personally ask her to come audition. Oh my gosh, she's freaking out and everybody's super excited for her. But for me, I'm like, who just lets a Hollywood producer enter a kid's high school full of minors? Like, that's not appropriate. Once you get to a certain age, you can't just waltz into a school. Knowing all we know now about the film and record industry, I don't think it looks good on their part to just enter like this. But it's kind of saying something, because that is really the mentality behind it. Like, people just looked at film and TV as such a high regard that they would just let people break rules just to abide by that. It's ridiculous. Tori and her friends all go to the record producer's office, and I can't believe how supportive these friends are. Like, I would be so upset if I auditioned for this, didn't get it, my best friend got it, and I just went with her to the production studio. Like, that would be crazy. The record producer is pretty insistent that Tori needs to be famous, but the only way to do it is if she rebrands herself. So Tori comes into school the next day as this pop diva, and it kind of feels like the story of Kesha, where it's like Kesha was this really good singer that just straight up made bangers, but people reframed her to be a certain way in order to get a record out. This was very common for the 2010s. That's essentially what Tori's going through here, but her commitment to it is consistently tested because she has to act the part just as much as she has to wear the clothes. So that means being disrespectful to her friends, actually isolating herself, and being a complete jerk. Oh my gosh.
My salad!
This kind of actually reminds me of a copy of the Hannah Montana episode where Miley was worried about being rebranded, and so she had to create a new image, and that image was also goth. I don't know why we did all this goth tropes where it's like somebody would come into the set and they would be the goth character, the emotionally hidden one. The episode ends on her creating a complete standout moment that actually makes her lose all of her friends and family because of her attitude. And then they give us a little preview on what's gonna happen next episode, but I'm pretty invested. I do think this is what a normal episode of Victorious should be, but hey, it's never too late than the final episode to do a plot that's really relevant to the show. But yeah, so basically we start with Tori separate from the class. Like, the class is actually talking about her now, which is kind of depressing considering most of the episodes is them making fun of other people, and now it's like the girls turning on her. That's kind of interesting. So nobody's really comfortable around her anymore, and you feel really bad for Tori because she's tried so hard to just fit in, and she's just trying to fit in her new career. Like, imagine me or you became YouTube famous and we just wanted to make sure we had successful things. Like, of course, like, it's all about how far are you willing to go to be successful, but like, the moral of this whole thing is don't ever leave behind loved ones, which it's kind of randomly deep for a Victorious episode, which is what makes it feel so jarring. You're like watching this and you're like, oh, is Tori gonna make the right decision or the wrong decision? Or is it gonna end up like a regular Victorious episode where one of the characters just betrays the other? One of my favorite bits though in this special is Kat having to not eat any more Bibble, that little candy treat. Maybe just because I like candy, I can relate to it.
I like it. I went back and bought 2 more sacks. I think I might have a Bibble problem.
But she literally has a bodyguard follow her throughout the school, and that's just crazy.
Here's some Bibble to tide you over.
No Bibble for Cat.
No Bibble for Cat.
Beck and Jade are not dating in this, which is a really important note, actually. Like, that is one of the big consistent character through lines that this show even has, you know, like Tori and Beck, and then Beck and Jade. Like, it actually provides a lot of interesting ships, and he's the only one that's actually supportive of her, making Jade actually get really furious with her. Now, Jade and Tori's relationship gets really strained because not only is she a horrible person and kind of mimicking Jade's whole look, let's face it, the only other person that acts like that is Jade. I don't know why they didn't just choose her for the record company. So Beck, Andre, and Robbie are the ones supporting Tori, which is actually really sweet. The friends come in, even though she's been kind of a jerk to them, and try to help her actually go through with performing at these music awards without letting anybody down. Tori ends up deciding that friends are more important than the music awards and standing up to the record producer. And you think this is like supposed to be the resolution to it all? Like, Tori is finally getting everybody on her side? Great. Like, this is going to be a very honorable way to end the series. But then Jade steps in and decides to take her place, so she literally sweeps the part from under her. Oh my gosh. There's a really prominent moment where Jade actually sees Beck and Tori on the webcam and sees them talking, and they're about to kiss. And oh my gosh, if I were Jade, I would be freaking out. This would break my heart. I feel like she's like really holding it together because it's concerning. She sees that Tori's actually a really good friend, and this kind of makes her act better. So Jade, after she sees that Tori is a loyal friend, she decides not to go out there. She literally decides to be the bigger person and lets Tori go out, completely betraying the record producer and sabotaging this entire music TV award show, which, by the way, can you imagine actually doing something like this? Like, you're on Nickelodeon and you fully go out in a completely different costume. Like, that would be insane. Jade ends up doing the right thing, which is really sweet. She kind of earns the right to date Beck again, I would say, just through her characteristics. Tori, like, respectfully stepped down from that relationship, and it makes you feel like a lot better about how the cast treats each other, because we've seen them in really poor, ridiculous times together, but this time they're actually coming through for one another, and I wish the series ended there. Like, this is the final 2-part episode that could have ended the whole show, and they just didn't let it end there. And that's fine. You know, obviously, all is said and done. We got 13 extra additional episodes for an otherwise canceled show. It's such a long way this has come, from going from Freak the Freak Out to Locked Up, then Tori goes platinum. It sucks because I hate to say this, but it feels like these are just less impressive iterations on the same plots they already did in iCarly and Drake and Josh. I Go to Japan is easily Locked Up, like, in a nutshell. Then Tori Goes Platinum is easily Really Big Shrimp in a nutshell. Freak the Freak Out is the only thing that I feel like was the most unique about this show, and it was the worst special. Yeah, so I can argue that none of these are even original ideas, and that's like the really frustrating part for me, because like, you want the show to succeed so bad, and you see that all the elements are there. You know, you have great catchy musical numbers, really cool character moments, and hilarious comedy beats, but the story itself is just abandoned at every chance it gets, only to make the character moments more important and just try to get the funniest bit out of everything going on, which is such a cheesy way to go about things. It feels like they're just rushing to get out as much content as possible. And you know what? It's not as bad as Sam and Cat. Sam and Cat is when it really goes off the hinges, but this is the beginning of the end for sure. And I'm curious what you guys think of any of these specials. I know they're very high regarded in retrospect from when they came out. Each season had its own 2-part episode. You had a special event night given to just this show, and it only happened 3 times throughout its run, so it's supposed to be a really meaningful endeavor, but did it really end up that way for you guys? Like, honestly, go into the mirror tomorrow morning, look at yourself in the face, and ask yourself, were you really satisfied with any of these 2-part specials? Please. And tell me in the comments below. If you want to argue against me and tell me that iParty with Victorious and all these specials are probably the best TV events of your existence, then you know what? I don't know what else to say to you. All I could say is you should probably unsubscribe to my channel because those opinions will not be met here. Actually, no, it's nice to have haters sometimes. I think it keeps the balance a little bit healthy. So yeah, if you see Johnny 2000, send it to some haters. See what they say about it. Thank you guys so much for watching and joining this series of going over the individual specials of TV shows. It's been a lot of fun to kind of isolate them from the rest of the series and view them as their own entities. It was just nice to have you guys join me for this journey. So until next time, until the next series, until the next installment, thank you guys so much for joining me. This is Johnny 2000, focusing on 2000s movies, media, and so much more. Have a great day, everybody.